How's it going, everybody? This is the Fandom Empire Show, Episode 1, Take 2. Apparently, Rogers was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck you, Fandom Empire guys. We're going to have our internet crash. And that was very unfortunate because a lot of work has gone into this show. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your afternoon. Some of you are probably at work. And isn't that like the real pressure of this is I have another job, contrary to popular belief, not a basement dweller. And that job requires me to be there at a specific time working in transportation. And so we're on a tight timetable with this. And when you're trying to pull off streams in between working a split shift, it's like, oh, right. It's like, this could crash. This might not work. So I was worried we might not get to do this till tonight. And the whole point of doing an afternoon show is to open up some time to spend with my growing family. They definitely deserve my time in the evenings. Not that they don't now, just the fiance's at work and the kid is at daycare. So without further ado, here we are, the Fandom Empire Show. Thanks for joining us today. And by joining us, I mean joining me. Usually there's a Tommy and a Kieran and a Johnny and a Mike and whoever else we can drag into these things. Let's spend a couple of minutes talking about what is the Fandom Empire Show. Intel Wild says, get those likes up, everybody. Again, apologies for, normally we'll be on at noon. I can't believe that the internet, not just our internet, but something like thousands of customers were affected in the blink of an eye. And it just rotten timing. By the way, we are currently broadcasting to the Halloween fandom page. Because of the way this works, I have no idea how many people are viewing it over there. I know it's not included in the YouTube numbers. We're also broadcasting on the Halloween Newsnet page, which are various social media pages that we have, because today's episode is very Halloween-centric, although we are getting into other things as well. We're broadcasting to those pages. So we're going to start streaming to multiple outlets. If you tune into the Tuesday show, which is Fandom Empire Live, that show right there, you guys know that that's more of a laid back, easygoing, fun time. 4 or 5 of us get together, just talk about fandom shit, what's new. Some of us might be having some drinks. Some of us might be indulging in other things. But the afternoon show going forward, it's pretty just going to be straightforward and focused in on what's going on in fandom, whether it's Halloween, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, horror related, you name it. We'll probably be covering it here. So the way it works is we're going to have 3 news topics or discussion topics each day, and then we will get to our featured topic of the show, which today's featured topic is none other than a possible return of Danielle Harris to Halloween. And I've already seen a bunch of people in the comment section saying Halloween ends. There's a spin to this. And those of you that subscribe to the Fandom Empire Patreon, which is right there, I think, you know that we've talked about this before, and we first discussed this, and it wasn't just like, hey, what if she returned? There was some merit to it. And this is going back several months, and now some more stuff has come out from the sources that we use anyway about this, and we look forward to chatting with you all about it. But without further ado, let's dive into this. We have time for Q&A. Okay, I see the comment section on this page is lighting up, so I'm assuming it's lighting up on the other pages as well. If you want me to see your comment, the best thing you can do is go to YouTube, go to Fandom Empire, just punch in Fandom Empire, and hit the subscribe button and participate in the comment section over here, because I don't think I can actually view your comments if you're watching on Halloween Fandom and or Halloween Newsnet. And if you don't want to comment, that's all good too. If you want to support the channel, you can send in a super chat if you want. It's not mandatory by any means, but it does help out what we do here at the channel. Without further ado, let's dive into this. Topic number 1, and it's a sensitive topic. it's nothing that should be taken too lightly. And it's Jon Moxley is taking a leave from AEW. By the way, the first 3 discussion topics are very short. We will be getting to the Danielle Harris stuff very soon. Jon Moxley is taking a leave from AEW. Tony Khan came out and announced earlier this morning, I believe it was, it might have been last night, that he is entering rehab. And it is due to some alcohol-related issues. I wanted to start with this, and it's a topic that means a lot to me because I'm gonna sort of take back the curtain here and just let you know that my father was an alcoholic when I was a kid, and it was pretty bad. And some of my earliest memories in life are of him, impaired. And they're not fun memories. And I'm really proud to say he's not that way anymore. He went through a serious battle with it and came out the other side. These things are like a major issue. You know, some people will roll their eyes at it, but like even someone like Jon Moxley, who, makes 7 figures, is susceptible to, falling to addiction. Addiction's a very serious matter that I don't think enough people take seriously. And even someone like him is going to get help. I wasn't aware they were going to make it as public as they did. Not that I knew beforehand. But kudos to him. He has a wife. He has a young child. He could have just kept working through this. And he's not. Him, and to credit to AEW and Tony Khan, they're making him go seek out help. And I think that's important because I think if you have an addiction or any issue of that sort, you absolutely should seek out help. We're all human, or we all have the ability to fall on tough times. And one of the first steps to cure an addiction is admitting you have a problem. So kudos to Jon Moxley and his family and Tony Khan and AEW for recognizing what's going on and doing the right thing. Because at the end of the day, we can all be here, and like I can come on YouTube and you guys can watch, and people in professional sports and or in Hollywood can go about what they're doing. However, if you don't seek help, things usually get worse. And there are more important things than wrestling and Hollywood and sports and all that shit. So I'm super proud of him for getting help, and we definitely wish him a speedy recovery. Again, we will be addressing questions. If anybody has any questions and or comments or support to offer, just feel free to put them in the comment section, and I will go through some of them at the end. Obviously, the people who super chat in will get priority. Not that it's mandatory, but we will try to get some normal questions as well. So Sony Spider-verse. This is a hot button topic. There's a lot of confusion about how Sony Spider-verse works. Yesterday, the Morbius trailer dropped, and we covered it on Fandom Empire Live. And yes, I apologize. I still have a bit of a cold. You can hear it in my voice. And I think that trailer for Morbius did its job. I had absolutely no interest in seeing Morbius. None. Didn't matter if it was connected or if Michael Keaton's popping up in trailers or whatnot. I had no interest in seeing Morbius. I actually like Jared Leto as an actor. I think he's fantastic. He has great range. Doesn't get enough credit for what he does. And then I saw this trailer. And to me, this is what a trailer is meant to do. When a trailer comes out, they're not marketing it to, if we're talking Halloween, they're not marketing the trailer to a bunch of Halloween fans. That's not how it works. They already know they have Halloween fans, just like the Morbius fans. If you're a fan of Morbius and or comic book movies, they probably know they have you. And even though I'm a fan of comic book movies, they didn't have me until the trailer yesterday. And I thought the trailer was very well done. A bunch of Spider-Man Easter eggs in there. And there was Spider-Man Easter eggs in the first one. But I think a lot of people are confused as to how the Sony Spider-Verse works. And you're not alone in that. So let's do some safe speculating here. So we know Morbius somehow is in the MCU because of Michael Keaton's character popping up. However, I think Spider-Man No Way Home is going to change a lot of that. Yes, that movie with the worst kept secret in the world. It's coming. It's coming soon. I don't think they're fooling anybody at this point. I know there's a lot of people bitching about the marketing for Spider-Man No Way Home. And the fact that they haven't shown Toby or Andrew yet, and basically everybody knows that they're in the movie. And my counter to that is I've never seen so much speculation about a movie, period. Even though we're still in a pandemic, the hype for Spider-Man No Way Home is real. And I think Sony knows exactly what they're doing with it. The thing is, I think the events that happen in Spider-Man No Way Home are going to shape the Sony Spider-Verse. And what I mean by that is I think that there's consequences in No Way Home. And I think if you've watched Venom, spoiler alert here, if you haven't seen it, Tom Holland's Spider-Man pops up in the after credit scene of Venom 2. I do believe by the time No Way Home gets here, and I've seen some stuff that backs this up, after No Way Home, you're going to see Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I think it's going to be Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Theoretically, it could be the other two as well. But you're going to see them and Venom and Morbius and eventually Kraven the Hunter all in their own Sony Spider-Verse. Now, I don't know if that means the MCU is going to have a Spider-Man or if it won't. That remains to be seen at this point. But I do know for certain that Sony Spider-Verse is definitely going to be a thing. You know, everybody goes on about the MCU and how connected it is, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that. The MCU is connected, and a lot of people love it for that. However, that said, I think there are other, properties that can connect things. And I think when it comes to what's going on with the Sony Spider-Verse is you're going to see a lot of new material come out of that as years go on. This is just sort of the beginning for them. I'm really curious to see how they pull everything off. I'm super stoked for Spider-Man No Way Home. How do all you feel? Are you guys excited for Spider-Man No Way Home? I know I am. I'm excited for Morbius now too. I do think that at the end of the day, these are going to connect well. All right, third topic. Star Wars. There goes half the chat. Timothy Olyphant, who had some play last night on the Fandom Empire live show, is returning to Star Wars. When? I don't know. I don't know when, because the project that Timothy Olyphant is returning to is, in fact, Rangers of the New Republic. And this is coming from Making Star Wars. The guys over there, and I believe Star Wars Mag had this too, but it might have been off the Making Star Wars report, is when Gina Carano got fired, whether you agree with the reason she got fired for or not, it was believed that she was the lead, and that's why the series was put on hold. She was not the lead, however. She was going to be the main supporting actress in that show, and the lead of the show was actually Timothy Olyphant's Cobb Vanth, who, if you've seen The Mandalorian Season 2, debuts in Boba Fett's armor. I fucking love Timothy Olyphant. Like, I think there's almost nothing this guy can do wrong to piss me off. I'm a huge Timothy Olyphant fanboy. Sign me up. If you tuned into Fandom Empire Live, we had some fun with that last night. His acting is fantastic, though. Like, if you've ever seen Justified, he's incredible as Raylan Givens. And if you haven't seen Justified, it's definitely a binge-worthy show that you should check out. Now, when is Rangers of the New Republic happening? We don't know, because it kind of got pushed to the end of the line. So my guess is this show, at the very earliest, you're looking at holiday season 2023, maybe even 2024. But Timothy Olyphant and more Star Wars is happening. However, him appearing in Star Wars might happen sooner than you think, as he is rumored, not confirmed, but rumored to have an appearance in the Book of Boba Fett, which would make some sense considering he debuted in The Mandalorian Season 2 with Boba Fett's armor. So, and by the way, the Book of Boba Fett trailer just came out the other day. I love Timothy Olyphant. I don't know if anybody in the chat here loves Olyphant. I love him. What do you guys think? Are you on board for more Timothy Olyphant in Star Wars? Timothy Olyphant was in Scream 2, and he was fantastic as Mickey. And again, I'm fanboying out here, but let me highlight Freddie's comment here. I'm not used to doing everything. I can see Facebook comments, some of them anyways. Darren says, horrible move, stick to the current timeline and enough of this Danielle Harris shit. We're going to touch on that in a moment, and I certainly respect your opinion. I've seen Freddie said some stuff on that earlier as well. I think it's allowing people from Halloween Newsnet to post comments, but not Halloween Fandom. But yeah, Timothy Olyphant was great as Mickey. He's actually my favorite Ghostface. I really, really dug what his character had to offer. And, I'm thrilled. James, I get it. It's not Q&A time yet, but I wanted to highlight it because it's a chance for a shameless self-plug. James says there's a lot of Star Wars coming. James, you would be correct. There is a metric shit ton of Star Wars coming. And one of the reasons I'm bringing this up is because there is so much Star Wars content coming that we decided at Fandom Empire that we were going to go and create our very own Star Wars YouTube channel. It's been a while. Those of you that have been around Fandom Empire for a bit now know that we started off on a network that was primarily Star Wars based, and then we moved off into different fandoms. And so if you are a Star Wars fan and you haven't yet, please head on over to our YouTube channel and check out our Star Wars YouTube channel. I'm apparently posting as Halloween Newsnet, which I don't know how that happened. This is also our first time streaming to 3 different destinations. It's not something common that we do. And but there it is. There's the link. Head on over. Subscribe to keep up to date on everything we're doing Star Wars style. There's a lot going on over there. So, yeah, Timothy Olyphant, he's back. And he's probably going to be back soon. But the idea that he's going to be the star of his own show, sign me up. Absolutely. Totally game for that. Nope. Don't have any interest in. Nope, didn't mean to highlight that. Apologies. There's no way I can delete that apparently. So yeah, let's see what else we have here. Are you a Darth Maul fan? Because if you are, he's back. That's right, in animated form, Darth Maul. And this again is coming from I believe it's Making Star Wars. I don't have my notes in front of me. Making Star Wars, Fantha Tracks, all those places. Pardon me, not Fantha Tracks. I think it's Bespin Bulletin. But Sam Witwer is returning as Darth Maul. And we know Kieran somewhere is fist pumping, and he can't wait to see more of Darth Maul. He's getting a Darth Maul and Boba Fett show. Who doesn't want that? I'm game. I like Darth Maul. I love Sam Witwer. I think he has such great range, whether he's just voice acting or actually acting. And what we know about the show is it's going to be a show about Darth Maul and Crimson Dawn. If you don't know what Crimson Dawn is, it is the sort of underground mob group from Solo. Paul Bettany's character was, I'm not going to say in charge because he technically wasn't. Darth Maul was, but he was the figurehead that they showed of Crimson Dawn in that. And we're going to get some, I'm not going to say it's going to be adult animation, but a little less kid-friendly, pardon me, Star Wars animation. I mean, who isn't down for that? The other thing that I've heard, though, this one's exclusive to us, and again, a rumor. is it sounds like we're finally going to get the long-awaited Darth Maul versus Darth Vader battle. There is time and space for this to happen, whether it's in the Darth Maul / Crimson Dawn animated series. They could have it pop up in Kenobi. Either way, Maul ends up stranded on Malachor in Star Wars Rebels, and now there's a chance that we could see them fight. And why not? It's something fans have wanted for a long time, and it seems like a good move. As long as it's not simply fan service, there has to be some narrative behind it. Definitely some narrative behind it. All right. Last but not least on the Star Wars front, Matt Smith spoke in an interview, I believe it was yesterday, and confirmed that he was in fact supposed to be in the Rise of Skywalker. The person interviewing him asked him if he was going to be Palpatine's son, which he kind of shrugged at and didn't really answer. The information we have, and I'd love to sit down and talk with Jason from Making Star Wars or one of the other big Star Wars scoopers, is the information that we heard was Matt Smith was supposed to be Darth Sidious himself, and that when Sidious does his little fucking over-the-top force thing towards the end of the Rise of Skywalker, it's a dumpster fire of a movie, if you ask me. But hey, the people that like it, kudos to you. I had heard that Matt Smith was going to play young Palpatine and that he got restored all the way to his young self. And instead of it being a light show in the sky, you would actually get to see Matt Smith in a lightsaber duel with Rey and Kylo Ren. They went the other way with it, and I think they wanted Ian McDiarmid to be the centerpiece. But I really think if they would have went the Matt Smith way, the payoff would have been much, much bigger. He did hint that, that he could possibly return in the future, but there's no guarantee of that either. All right. You survived. Star Wars talk's done. It's the featured topic of the show. Danielle Harris, everybody's favorite Halloween actress. Danielle Harris returning to Halloween, ? That is the question. I'm for it. Let me just say this right off the top. I'm for it, but I'm for it for the same reason. For the same reason that Toronto Freddy mentioned earlier. It has to have narrative purpose. I don't want to see Danielle Harris as, oh, hey, she was that cashier at the liquor store that Lori went into. You don't need that. You don't need her as the mail woman. You don't need her as the taxi driver. Again, we will answer as many questions as we can in the Q&A, which comes on right after this. It has to serve narrative purpose. This is what we've heard. Again, if you're a member of the Fandom Empire Patreon, you know a couple months ago that we covered this. And it's right there. Wayne, you're getting ahead of here. You're getting ahead of me here. And there's actually more information on that. So read my comment from 5 minutes ago. I will go back during the Q&A and pick out things as we go. Again, if you want your question and or comment, definitely read on air. Send in a super chat. It'll get up. Otherwise, we will be picking and choosing because these shows go about 45, 50 minutes or so. Sometimes an hour. We'll see how it's going. The chat's pretty active. So this is what we've heard. Danielle Harris is in talks to return to Halloween. And I find that interesting because we're about to, and when I say about to, I don't mean tomorrow or next week. I mean over the next month and a half. We're about to get some Halloween Ends casting news. What could that be? We've also heard Phil Brooks is a possibility. Phil Brooks is CM Punk, if you haven't heard, and he also hinted that you might find that stuff out in November. We'll have to wait and see what happens on that front. But on Danielle Harris, we had heard that she's in talks to return. Again, this is rumor. This isn't, a done deal by any means, hence the question mark in the thumbnail. But it is interesting that Wayne pointed out earlier that it wouldn't be before Halloween Ends. However, David Gordon Green, in a recent interview, pointed out that he would love to have Danielle Harris return to the franchise in some way, shape, or form if they could make it work. Now, what does that mean exactly is the question. Danielle Harris first portrayed Jamie Lloyd in 1988's Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. It has that famous sound bite at the end of it. That's our reaction whenever Terrence comes on the channel. She appeared in 1988's Halloween 4 and then again in 1989's Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, which for me is a forgettable film. I found it interesting that David Gordon Green would name drop Danielle Harris. Does that mean she's going to be in Halloween Ends? No. Can we rule out that she's in Halloween Ends? Again, I would say no. However, there is talk already of further Halloween content coming to Peacock. And the reason for that is literally Halloween on Peacock was a massive success for a struggling streaming network. And that's huge. And more over the last couple of months, we have heard the talk that Halloween Ends, well, it's titled Halloween Ends, and likely would be the end of David Gordon Green's involvement in these movies, as he has a full slate coming up. I think everybody just assumes that the story is over at Halloween Ends. And while I would bet on it, I'm not sure how much I would bet, I wouldn't be throwing away a whole paycheck to go, yeah, Halloween Ends. For sure, it's going to be the end. I would have thought that about a year ago, but there's been so much talk behind the scenes that Halloween Ends might be the end of David Gordon Green's trilogy. However, they may continue the movies going forward. Now, does that mean that it'll be the same timeline? Not necessarily, although it could. And I actually have a pitch for everybody. Right now, it's scheduled to air Friday. I'm going to pitch to you what my continuation of this timeline would be after Halloween Ends. And funny enough, as it was just mentioned in the chat, my pitch for it is Halloween Returns, but not the Halloween Returns everybody knows of that didn't get made. It would, in fact, be something else. And I look forward to hearing what each and every one of you have to think about it, or have to say about it, pardon me. But there is a lot of talk right now about Danielle Harris possibly returning. We're not saying it's happening, but I feel confident in saying that there's a damn good chance that it's going to happen, and maybe sooner than people think. That doesn't mean it's Halloween Ends. It could be something after Halloween Ends, which would be, in my opinion, the proper route to go. Jamie Lee Curtis is not going to keep doing these things, and I'll be honest, they don't need Jamie Lee Curtis to keep doing these things. They've made their money off these movies. You can continue to do Halloween movies, but as Dave McCrae says over on his channel, the more of these you make, eventually you will run these into the ground. And we already know Danielle Harris technically already had her return in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 and in Rob Zombie's Halloween as Annie Brackett. And I'll be honest, I'm probably in the minority in this, but I actually prefer Jamie Lloyd's. There we go. Can you tell I love Halloween 4? I actually prefer Danielle Harris's take on Annie Brackett more. Now everybody's going to start leaving and, I'm going to get crucified, whatever. It's all good. I really enjoy Danielle Harris as Annie Brackett in those movies, even though I'm not a big fan of those movies in general. The question is, do you guys and gals out there want Danielle Harris to return? And should it be in Halloween Ends, or should it be after Halloween Ends? We have a little bit more information on that, but we do run a Patreon here, and we have to give them some exclusive content. And we have a good idea where Danielle Harris stands with all this too. So the only thing we can confirm is talks have definitely happened. And we're going to be talking about it on the next Lampkin Lane episode, which you can sign up for Lampkin Lane right there, patreon.com/Fandom Empire. choose the Lampkin Lane tier. You get 2 Halloween shows a month going forward. And the next one's going to focus on what Danielle Harris thinks about possibly returning. I know she's talked about it on social media and hinted at it, but there's definitely more to the story. And it sounds like it's going to happen. Again, the question is how and when. I do think it's sooner than people realize, though. It's Q&A time. That's right. The Fandom Empire Show, episode number 1. Q&A time. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Ready your questions. I lied. 3 minutes. Q&A time. Fandom Empire Show. Just going to refill my drink here before I lose my voice. The floor is yours. Danielle Harris. Returning to Halloween, ? It sounds like it's a good possibility. We'll have to wait and see. I'm definitely more open to it than I was before. We'll be back in about 2 minutes. All right, we're back. It's Q&A time here for the next, we'll go for 10 or 15 minutes, see what comes up. Wayne Gottke says, I think a series called Halloween Returns on Peacock would be awesome. The Peacock thing is huge because they've been trying to sell people a while now, NBC Universal, on that Peacock is doing better than it actually is. 90%, that's not a fake number, at least prior to Halloween Kills. 90% of the people signed up on Peacock were simply for the free version, not paid services. And in order to see Halloween Kills on Peacock, you had to sign up for one of the paid tiers. So creating content for the streaming service is important. I still think the most likely thing that makes the most sense to do over there is some sort of reboot / sequel to Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. I think that has long-term storytelling potential. And yet it does sound like they are exploring the possibility of something Michael Myers. Not necessarily what I would do. I think Michael's better in just 90-minute movies. But I'm also a Halloween 3 Season of the Witch fan. I like it. I dig it. Who wouldn't want it? I know I would. I see a comment that I want to address here. Gabby the Sims Builder. Danielle Harris says, what? Her character died. Are we going to forget that and move on with a new story? Well, I think the issue there is the character died in a timeline that no longer exists. And there's nothing to say for certain that Danielle Harris would be returning as Jamie Lloyd. I think a lot of people just jump to that conclusion as if it's the only possibility. And I think the reality is there's several possibilities of how Danielle Harris could return to the Halloween franchise. Again, though, there's more to this than that. there's some stuff from her end. She's not just going to sign up for anything. That's as much as I'll give you right now. And it's not like I know Danielle Harris. And it's not like, we have personally talked to these people. It's simply the sources that we've used at the channel for a while. And if you followed our channel, we've been pretty spot on Halloween stuff. Michael Myers, how do you feel about Danielle Harris? Who knows? Who knows? Michael Myers is an odd fella. Jamie Lee stated the Ends would be her last Halloween movie. As for Zombies version of the series, not a fan. What would be crazy is if they had someone clone Myers. Holy shit, are we going Star Wars with this? Instead of a Palpatine clone, it's just fucking... Hang on. Apologies. I'm being told to check my messages on Facebook. Oh. All right. Apparently, we might have a special guest come on here mid-episode. Q&A, so it's a little more raw than the rest of the show has been. But send it on over to him. See what he thinks. I don't want to reveal who it is just yet. Someone clone Myers. Let me tell you, Mike, that is a real out there idea that in some version of these movies would be cool to see. Maybe instead of Toronto Freddy says the army of the shapes. that sir is fucking money. For me, what about like the Shape X, like Jason X? We let John Carpenter finally come back and direct one more thing, and he gets to shoot Michael up into space the way he wanted, and it just turns out that Michael's been cloned and it's not a real Michael. Indeed. Great minds. Joining us now, completely unplanned, although I thought he might have been getting at this earlier, but it didn't happen. It's our... Oh, hang on. Apologies. That's the wrong button. Not used to having so much shit on here. Joining us, Mr. Mike Bish. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? Yeah, I was trying to get here a little earlier before it started, and I was like, just don't think I'm going to make it. But, sucks that you had the internet outage, but it kind of worked out a little bit so I could jump on at the end of the Q&A. But I know that that's frustrating, man, especially first episode of this.
We're like fucking a minute into the intro, and everything freezes, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I don't see one. Oh, Jade Super. So we spent our own money to Super. We just gave Google 60 cents or 55 cents. That doesn't help us at all, hon. But thank you. Yeah, man. We have talked about it over on the Fandom Empire Patreon, Lambkin Lane, and we had this report that there was talks between Danielle Harris and actually one other super notable actor who may have got referenced last night on Fandom Empire Live, of the possibility of two people returning to Halloween. And lately, over the last couple of days, the one thing that's come up a lot in my DMs anyways with the sources that we use is it seems like the Danielle Harris thing, well, is not officially a go yet. It's trending that way for sure. What are your thoughts on a Danielle Harris return, and how would you do it, man?
I don't know how I would do it, and that's way above my pay scale. I'm interested to see on Friday where you want to go with the story after it ends, though. I can tell you that. But as far as Danielle Harris, man, I've been very vocal about her role in the Halloween franchise. I obviously loved her in 4 and 5. Don't really care for 5 as a movie, but as far as her in that role as a child, fucking phenomenal. And then as Annie Brackett in the 2 Rob Zombie films, again, 2 films that I'm not crazy about. What she did in those 2 films were phenomenal. So why not bring back somebody who has done phenomenal for the Halloween franchise? It's just, how are they going to bring her back? I'm with you. There's got to be some context to it. There's got to be a good storyline with how they're going to bring her back. Obviously, I don't see how they can bring her back as Jamie Lloyd, and I know it gets confusing to especially the non-diehard Halloween fans about the timelines and things like that. But I would love to see her come back. I think that she, like I said, she's been phenomenal in the 4 movies that she's been in. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that's going to happen. I'm kind of with you. I agree that I think there's a good chance that it could happen. We're not saying that it's going to, but the likelihood of that happening is getting more realistic. And honestly, I'm sure we'll hear something soon on that in the next couple of months with filming, beginning in early January. So
I wish that I could dive in more to the Danielle Harris side of it. But I am going to save that for Patreon. So be on the lookout for that. Not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. And there's definitely things from her perspective that make me believe that it won't be Halloween Ends, but rather the first project after Halloween Ends.
okay.
And I think there's a really solid reason for that. And I actually think that she deserves some credit for it, but we'll dive into that more on Patreon.
Well, I mean, I've seen her at multiple horror conventions, and she's made it known across her social media that she would love to come back to the Halloween franchise. That's something she hasn't shied away from, and expressing those feelings. So, I'm sure whatever they come up with, she'll be on board. But I'm excited to see what exactly that may be.
Me too, man, for sure. I'm very pro Danielle Harris. I dig that. I liked her as a kid. I liked Jamie Lloyd. I didn't really care for any of the stuff in 5, if I'm being honest. I liked her a lot in 4. But for zombies movies that I don't particularly like, and it's not just me liking her for the sake, oh, well, hey, it's the girl from Halloween 4, so I'm going to like her. She was great as Annie Brackett, like you said. I thought, I'm sure people would kill me. I think the original Annie Brackett was Nancy Loomis, I believe. I wouldn't. It doesn't bother me to say that I prefer, pardon me, Danielle Harris's take on the character for sure. Do you have any final thoughts on how maybe they should not use Danielle Harris in a Halloween movie? Because I definitely think there are some ways that they should totally stay away from. And by the sounds of it sounds like Danielle Harris has made that clear as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I have any specifics, and I'm interested to hear what your specifics are. But I just don't want it to be only just a fan service type of move. I don't want her coming back in a small 10-15 minute role. I mean, if you bring her back, make her viable, make her a big part of whatever story you're trying to tell. I mean, it doesn't have to be the whole enchilada. She doesn't have to be the centerpiece, but I would like for her to have a big chunk in whatever storytelling they're going to go with. So we'll see how that goes. But as far as, like I said, as far as not what I don't want them to do, or what I don't want them to do, I should say, is, like I said, just having a miniature role just for her to make a small appearance, which I'm sure she wouldn't want to be in anyways. I'm sure, the roles that she's been in a big chunk of these viable roles in the Halloween franchise. So I'm sure she wants to keep that up. And she's, like I said, she's done a great job in those roles. So why diminish her now? I mean, if she comes back and she doesn't perform in that big role, obviously that's on her, but at least give her the shot to. I think she's earned that right in the Halloween franchise to do so.
Jay says your super chat isn't on. It is. I've seen Jade do it. So the super chat option is on if you want to do that. Although YouTube could be having issues. I know that's a common thing that ends up happening. Also, I think our broadcast to Halloween Fandom isn't working the way it's supposed to be, but it is for Halloween Newsnet. So apologies. It's just one of those terrible tech days, but we're making it through, and it's been a solid show so far. Let's dive into some of these questions, man, while I have you for a few. Sadly, I got to go back to work, so it's not like I can be like, yeah, we'll extend the show a little longer and a little longer, and a little longer. No, I can't lose that other job. It pays the bill. So Halloween Ends isn't the ending. It could be, and I absolutely believe it's the end for David Gordon Green and Danny McBride. And we're going to have some more on the Danny McBride front in a week or two. I'm sure everybody's been waiting for that for a few years. Why hasn't that happened yet? But I believe it's the end of David Gordon Green's time with the franchise. I think they're more open than ever to making more movies. This movie is at like close to $120 million worldwide, and that is with a release on the streaming service Peacock on the same day while still in a pandemic. The movie did way better financially than I thought it would, and what most thought it would. And it's going to end probably around 125, $130 million worldwide, which after you take out the marketing and the production budget and the theater's cut, the film's going to profit $50, $60 million. So companies see that, at the end of the day, yes, there's a creative process, and yes, you still want to tell a good story, but the driving force behind all this shit is always money. And it's certainly not lacking it. Mike, any thoughts on them continuing after Halloween ends? Are you open to that? Or do you think a movie titled Halloween Ends should be the fucking end of this timeline?
Oh man, that's tough. I mean, it all depends on how ends, right? I mean, I don't know anything about it. I didn't read the early script that was released, and I know that has been totally shafted, and for the most part, with the time jump that they're doing. So it all depends on what this final movie is. I'm all for more Halloween content. Now I'm with you. I think this is definitely the end for David Gordon Green. I mean, he has a full slate coming up. So even if he wanted to do it, I mean, when the hell would he have time? I mean, he's got a lot of good projects that I'm looking forward to coming up. Interested to get his take on it. So yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where they're gonna go or what they're gonna do. I know, with Peacock. I mean, maybe a show. I'm not a big fan. I've never been a big fan of the Child's Play movies after the second one. But I'm really digging the new Chucky series, to be honest with you. I mean, I think it's good for a TV horror show. That is not on Netflix. It is actually on television. I think it's been pretty good. So, yeah, I don't know where the story is going to go, but I'm all up for having more Halloween content, man.
I think when the when that show ends, Chucky, we need to get you on here and just do a review. I'm not watching it. I'm not a big Chucky fan.
Yeah, me neither, to be honest.
No, but you're saying some pretty big things about it, and to be honest, I've seen a lot of the fan response be fairly positive to it too. So you see something go to sci-fi and you think the worst because it's sci-fi. So
I did. I'm
guilty. I'm guilty. We don't
trust
mind
me.
YouTubers that come on here and actually admit when they're wrong.
I mean, and to be honest with you, man, if that first episode didn't really drag me in at all, I probably wouldn't have gave it that second chance, for the next episode, like I would, most shows, just because, like I said, I'm not the biggest Chucky fan outside of the first two films, and I don't even revisit those two films often. So, yeah, for what it is and what they have to work with being on network television, I think they're doing a pretty damn good job. I don't know if it's just because you have some of the original creators back. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think the writing's phenomenal. Obviously, when you get the classic actor to come back and play the Chucky voice, I think that was huge for me, trying to give the other Child's Play Child's Play or Chucky films a go, and that just wasn't the case. It's just a turnoff for me. So I've been excited about this series. So.
So have I. Intel Wild says, hit that like button. It looks like this right there. Hit that like button. It's absolutely free to support the channel on that level. And if you want to keep up to date on all sorts of fandom news, rumors, scoops, it's not just confirmed stuff we're going to be talking about. We will be going into the hot stove, if you will, the rumor mill for Halloween, horror, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, the Batman, and more. And I know there's starting to be, I've seen trickle out a little bit today, some rumors about Joker 2 that I'm very torn about how I feel about it. So We might dive into that on Friday's show. Again, the Fandom Empire show airs every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Right now it's at noon, but if we move it back to 1 p.m. or so, it might make Mike available for these things more. I don't know. I just assumed you weren't available in the afternoon, man.
It just depends. All if I'm working from home and when I take my lunch break, it really just all depends on how the work day's going. So
okay, we got to give some love to this. Bob Birkin's Halloween No Way Home. The Halloween multiverse. You just see fucking everybody start to gang up on Don Shanks from Halloween 5. All the other Michael Myers just start to beat him down. I'd be game for that. Talking Star Wars has just sent the messages on Facebook Messenger. Did you send them to me or did you send them to a page? I don't see it here, man. If you sent it to a specific page, let me know because they're a little more difficult to pin down. Just send it. If it's to a page and you don't have me on Facebook, then let me know what page it is and I'll go search it up. And if you want me to divulge said information, we can. Jay Ryan says he misses me. It's been a minute. It has, man, but I've been following you on social media. I see you there. Hopefully all is well, man. Hopefully you enjoyed Kills. USA canceled the Purge TV series after an amazing second series. I will never forget them or forgive them.
So that's the only thing that kind of scares me is being on network television and, with these these horror television shows coming out. Obviously, horror has its own fan base, but I don't know. It kind of scares me. This Chucky series it looks like it's going in a good direction. Obviously, we'll see how it goes as far as how it's ending, but it's just a gamble when network television has control of these horror TV shows, the limited ones that are out there, because they can just end it in an instance, which if it was on a streaming service like Netflix or Peacock, yes, they can end it in an instance too, but it's just not like network television. Network television shows are a little bit more strict on what they show. And I know maybe sci-fi may be a little different because they don't have those many shows out there on like a network like USA. So we'll see how that goes, but that is a concern when it comes to horror television TV series that are not on streaming services.
Byron Weaver says, Sean, have you heard Dave McRae's pitch for Halloween 5? A long time ago. I think he put that out a couple years ago. So if I sat here and said that I remember everything from his H5 pitch, I would be lying. I truly don't. I'll have to go back and revisit that, though. But I do. I have a continuation pitch for Halloween Ends. I know how Halloween Ends was originally supposed to end. I don't believe it's that ending anymore, and I hated that ending, so that's a good thing. Yeah. Webbs says Danielle Harris is amazing. When will we get the trailer for the Obi-Wan series? You're probably a long time away for that, man. Mainly because think about it this way. The Book of Boba Fett debuts December 29th, and the Book of Boba Fett trailer came out this past Monday. So a little less than 2 months before the show. However, I do think you're going to get a sneak peek at it during the Disney Plus event November 12th, which we will cover over on the other channel, Star Wars Fandom. I posted a link to that earlier. Again, if you're new to this channel, hit subscribe, keep up to date on all the fandom content we have here. We have a Tuesday night show where 4 or 5 of us just sit back. Sometimes we do some top 10 lists. Sometimes we're just having a good time. Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Every other Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Kieran has the Rick and Morty fan show. The IPC podcast is every other Friday. And then we have the Star Wars Fandom YouTube channel. So go check that out and hit subscribe. Wayne Gaki says they need to create a new character for her. She can be in the Myers family still if they wish, but it shouldn't be Jamie Lloyd. I'm assuming you mean if she's in Halloween Ends, because if she is, I completely agree with that take. If they're just going to continue from Halloween 4, though, not saying they will, then I think she can be Jamie Lloyd. And in terms of people getting confused about the timeline, I know there wasn't like a lot of social media back then. There was basically none, but people were confused about the timeline when Halloween H2O came out. That's 1998. They didn't understand that H2O was not a continuation from 6. So There's that too. Let's take a few more questions, man, and then I got a jet. I hate having to like pick and choose, and then I feel like I'm just telling people to fuck off. You sent them to me. To me on what though? Facebook? Because I see nothing. Talking Star Wars. Yeah, I see nothing. Oh, pardon me. I'm sorry. I'm looking at it right now. For some reason, they weren't showing up. So Talking Star Wars wanted us to read that Andy Serkis is scheduled to be in Andor. He is. I've heard that. Now, that doesn't mean that Snoke is going to be in Andor, so we're clear. I've heard that he's just going to be playing a human. Taika Waititi is coming back from The Mandalorian season 3. My big question there is he just going to act in it, or is he going to direct an episode again? I hope he directs. The Acolyte working title I have not read yet, so I can't really comment on that. But I do know The Acolyte is set to start filming next year and should be released sometime early mid 2023. That's a show based off of dark side characters, so it's going to tell a Star Wars story from a different point of view. Appreciated for reaching out with that stuff, Shannon. It means a lot. Halloween returns in 2026 or 2028. You can bet your ass they're going to do something for 2028. It's 50 years. Just like Star Wars is going to do something for 2027. It's 50 years. You got to celebrate that. You have to do something with that for sure. Liam says, I saw a clip of Chucky. They bleeped out his profanity. You cannot censor Chucky. Did they do that in the episode too, Mike?
I forgot. I think they bleeped out the word fuck, but he says shit, bitch. And I think the only word that they bleeped out was fuck. And I think that's if you watch that on USA. I don't think that's sci-fi, but I might be wrong on that part.
Hey, the Slaughtered Lamb movie podcast. We know those guys. Scream, Wolf Creek. I know what you did last summer. In most instances, TV shows of movies dilute and cheapen the brand. I liked the first season of Scream because it didn't feel like the Scream movies. And the second one kind of felt like, hey, we need to, write something for a second series or for a second season. And then the third one was just dog shit and had nothing to do with the first two. And I haven't seen I Know What You Did Last Summer yet.
I saw the previews for that and it looked kind of corny to me, but it's tricky with previews because either they're going to drag you in or they're not going to drag you in. And you can think based off of the preview, the show or movie is shit and it not be shit. They just did a poor job of marketing it in the trailer, or you think it's going to be great because of the trailer and you come in and it turns out to be trash. I was not sold on any of the trailers that I saw. It just looked a little too corny for me. And I like the first installment of I Know What You Did Last Summer for what it was and when it came out. So I don't know. I just wasn't really sold on it.
All right, we're going to take 3 more questions, guys, and then I got another job to get to. Liam says Kills will probably become a cult favorite in years to come. Also, did you hear about the extended cut of Kills coming in January? So I know there's an extended cut of the movie coming. What worries me, though, is how extended is it going to be? Are we just going to get the alternate opening and alternate ending? Or are they going to get a bunch? Are we going to get a bunch of the shit they took out of the test screening? Because my hope would be we get all that stuff that was taken out of the test screening and we have a legit extended version, director's cut, if you will, or producer's cut, depending on whose vision it is, of the movie. Let's get like 15 minutes more of this movie or 10 or 12 minutes more of this movie. If it's 2 minutes more and it's the slightly different ending, which pays a nod to the Halloween 1978 with the phone call, and the extended flashback would be nice. It'd be cool, but like I hope it's a true extended cut. What about you, Mike?
I'm with you. Actually, I remember I asked to read the script for Kills from you, and you sent it to me, and I never read it. I chickened out. But after I saw Kills, I went back and read it, and I saw what you were talking about at the extended flashback scene. So I would like to see that. I don't know why they cut that out. I thought that would have been pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, I'll probably, buy it on 4K Blu-ray or whatever comes out when it comes out, because I enjoyed the film a lot. Um, for what it was, I have my certain expectations for it. So, but yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see.
Mark Downs, how about Harris and Harnett play Michael's parents in the flashback? Hopefully it sticks, but I can tell you there was supposed to be flashbacks in Halloween Ends. And there at one point there was one that went all the way back to 1963. So I would say that that's definitely possible. Again, though, you get into confusing people, and although I don't think they really care about that at this point, it doesn't seem like it. Your thoughts on this idea, and we'll take one more after that.
Interesting. I don't know. That would be interesting. I would like to. Again, I feel like I feel like if they do that flashback, depending, involving those two, I still don't think that would be a huge role for Danielle Harris, and I kind of want a bigger role for her than that. But it would be better than just the cashier at the gas station type of cameo for her. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm interested if they do have a flashback and ends, how that will go. I mean, it's something that they hit a home run with, and in Kills, it's one of the scenes in Kills that, whether you like the film or not, I haven't really heard any negative feedback on the flashback. So I'm sure they're going to try to capitalize on that.
All right, we'll end with this one. I didn't see who, but somebody was putting the Infinity Stones in there. That would be off the wall crazy. Let's end with this. We'll end with Toronto Freddy, one of our chat mods here. He says, I still say they should have used Will Sandon as Michael Myers in the flashback. Aaron Armstrong was good, but his physical appearance was too big. I thought Aaron Armstrong was great. I loved what he had to do. I get the want for Will Sandon for sure. It's definitely a nice little tip of the hat. But I'd be totally okay with Aaron Armstrong getting his own film. And I remember talking about this on Patreon as well, that people were going to fall in love with Aaron Armstrong and how he is as Michael. And I don't think he disappointed, but I do think there's something there for the Will Sandon stuff. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for us this afternoon. I have to run my ass to work. In fact, I will be pulling out of the bus yard in about 25 minutes. So time has come and gone. Episode number 1 of the Fandom Empire show, which you can catch every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right here on YouTube or on the Halloween Fandom Facebook page. Hopefully next time it works, or the Halloween Newsnet Facebook page. To recap, we talked about Jon Moxley. Definitely our thoughts are with him and his family during this difficult time. Addiction's a very serious thing, and you need to know when to ask for help. And I'm glad that Jon did, and I'm glad that he's getting the help. Timothy Olyphant and Sam Witwer returning to Star Wars. Matt Smith confirmed that he was supposed to be in the Rise of Skywalker, and we talked a bit about that as well. And obviously, I think I'm missing one here. I am indeed. The Sony Spider-verse. I do think we're going to get a lot more from that after Spider-Man No Way Home. Let's see how No Way Home plays out. There are definitely stakes at hand. I like the Sony idea. I do, because to me, the MCU feels a bit watered down at times and a bit kiddie, and Sony's movies seem to have a little more of an adult theme to them, and I'm totally digging it. And then last but not least, Danielle Harris returning to Halloween. It sure as hell sounds like it. Nothing confirmed at this point. Don't know if it'll be Halloween Ends or something after, but talks have happened, and let's see how it plays out. Mike, thanks for doing this, man. Wasn't expecting to have you here today.
Yeah, man, no problem. Absolutely.
Where can everybody find you
at? You follow me on Twitter at @MichaelBish_ and on Instagram at @MBish_.
And you can check us out at all the social media things up there. Twitter at Fandom Empire Now, Facebook, the Fandom Empire Den, or Halloween Fandom, or Halloween Newsnet. and Instagram Fandom Empire now. Shout out to our buddies, the Slaughtered Lamb movie podcast in the chat. Check them out too. They got great stuff going on at their channel as well. And then the number one way you can support us, patreon.com/Fandom Empire. New content coming out all the time over there. Can't wait to get rid of this cold. I sound like shit. Anyways, the Fandom Empire show, episode 1. It's in the books. We'll see you Friday. I don't know if I'll do my Halloween post-Halloween ends pitch then or in the next week. It'll be sometime. But I really do have a pitch to the point where specific actors and actresses are featured and how you would build that movie. And looking forward to sharing that. But for Mike and our chat mods, I'm Sean. We'll see you next time on the Fandom Empire Show.